welcome, Dr. Ghaharya. When you finished up your working career, you were a researcher developing groundbreaking products that help people with severe burns to heal by reducing that scarring.
That's right, yeah.
What did your job look like when you were doing that work?
My job was actually my passion, and then I had to go to work almost 6 days a week. And always I wanted to develop something for burn patients because I'm associated with the burn unit and also BC professional firefighters. During this time, actually, I come up with something that is unexpected, and that we found a protein that seems to be very high in patients with rheumatoid arthritis. And then when we patented this one, a company actually came and licensed it. And now that's become an early biomarker for a patient who might get the rheumatoid arthritis. And now is run by Quest Diagnosis in United States and some diagnostic lab in Canada as well. And so has been patented all over the world. And so obviously British Columbia benefit from this technology, and also I benefit from annual royalty. So.
Okay, but when you were doing that work and you go to the lab, what would you do on a day-to-day basis? Like, what did your job look like?
My job is supervising 10 to 14 people. Most of them are PhD student and postdoctoral fellows and master student as well. I have some medical resident that come to our lab. So therefore, I have to supervise them on a daily basis as well as weekly basis and discuss the progress and difficulties associated with the research, and then find a solution for it, and then help them to basically put the data into publication. And so we were able to publish more than 200 peer-reviewed articles.
So you weren't peering over the microscope then. You were supervising and managing a team of researchers who were doing that work in support of your hypothesis?
Yes,
okay.
That's right. So what happened is that during the, for any researcher, first we have hypothesis, and then we have a specific aims, and then you cannot do it without funding. And then you have to apply to some organization called, for example, in our case, called Canadian Institute of Health Research. So usually this institute support top 15 to 20% of people who apply for this grant. So the grant is reviewed by almost 10 people, and then they come up with the ranking, and the funding come to the lab. And then the fund is basically used to pay PhD student, postdoctoral fellow, and pay for material, pay for anything that is related to research.
So in essence, you're running a small business.
Exactly, yeah. If your idea is not novel, basically you cannot get it. If the plan that you have, hypothesis that you have, doesn't make sense, you cannot get it. If the proposal that you have is something that is out of basically world of science, you cannot get it. You have to be the research. It's a tough competition.
So you can't just wind up in a job like that, or you can't even really apply for it unless you have a specific career path that puts you in line with this. So what was your career path?
My career path, actually, I started my PhD at the University of Manitoba at the age of 40. And so most people start PhD at the age of 24, 22, 23.
Okay, so why did you wait till 40? What were you doing before that?
Because I was in Iran, and then I was instructor at university, and I had the master degree, and so I decided to come and get my PhD. So therefore, I applied for PhD program, and I got acceptance by University of Manitoba, and then I came over there, and then with 3 children, I started my PhD. My wife started a PhD, and then after 4 years, actually 6 years, PhD and postdoc, I got position at the University of Alberta as an assistant professor. And then because of my hard working, publication and grant received, I was able to become associate and full professor.
So what was your PhD thesis?
My PhD thesis was in cell biology and molecular biology. Basically something that you can see it everywhere in the skin, you have to see it in heart, you can see it in lung, but because the advertise or recruitment was in burn unit, so I used all the knowledge that I gained during my PhD for burn patient and working in the skin.
So you couldn't have wound up in the burn unit if you hadn't developed the thesis that you did and then complete your PhD.
That's right, yeah.
So then you said you went to the University of Alberta, became a professor. What were you a professor in, and were you doing research while you were at U of A?
Yes, I did the same kind of research. Actually, some idea has been developed over there and continued to do it here. And then at that time, when the University of British Columbia offered me the job, so I mentioned I need a startup fund. And that's why the BC Professional Firefighter come up with the funding, and with the condition that the name of the lab become BC Professional Firefighter Burn and Wound Healing Research Lab. And then I had 4 or 5 students. From there, I brought them here at the University of British Columbia. So I started recruiting more PhD students, more postdoctoral fellows, and at one time I had more than 15 fellows and PhD students to run, because I received a lot of funding from Canadian national funding, basically. I received also some funding from international funding agencies.
So for, let's say, a young person who's thinking of going into biomedical or life sciences research, and they would say to you, well, what's the most important personal characteristic I should have to succeed in this sector? What would you tell them?
I think for any a student who wants to get into research or any field of medicine should basically work very hard and then has passion for the work that he or she is doing. That's very important. And so very important to focus on the research or whatever she is doing, and then try to put her work into publication, because the key for someone who wants to go into academic position is publication and awards and also some funding. And most students who apply for, let's say, for medicine or for research, if you don't have background, they don't have any publication, it's very difficult to get this job.
But it's a great job, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it, and that's why I continue to do my job until age of 79. And most people told me you're going to die at work, and so I decided to work because I thought maybe I don't want to wait until to be, sit on the wheelchair and then retire. At least I have some time for my family and also for traveling here and there. So it's not easy to publish more than 200 peer-reviewed articles, and most of the articles are actually high-ranking journals, and most of them are American. And it's not easy to get funding from the basically very tight competition, such as CIHR, Michael Smith, and other organizations. But I did it because of the hardworking, as I said, even though I had 3 children and very successful right now. And so because I spend all my time for my work and my family as well.
Wonderful. Thank you.